Can you state your name and occupation here at Jeff?
Alyssa Montgomery, special ed teacher. I teach the life skills classroom.
Okay. What's the biggest struggle that you typically see students with disabilities deal with?
The biggest struggle would be change in routine, just change with staff, because so they set on a routine. They're used to a routine and working through things, and that's why, like in the classroom, our schedule is set up where it's pretty repetitive, and that's how the kids learn activities, whether it's math, science, social studies, language, or even when we go out in the community, we try to keep things pretty much the same because that's how kids learn.
Are students with disabilities welcome environments with their peers who do not have disabilities?
Sometimes, but a lot of times, no. I've noticed that here in the school, just like the language that the people without a disability use can be really offensive towards somebody with a disability. Sometimes they might be, you think they're joking around, but they're not really joking around. But we do have programs here set up, Best Buddies, and I run the Best Buddies program so that we try to get some of the gen ed kids to pair up with some of the kids with a disability. And those kids are more receptive to those, but the overall general population, we struggle sometimes.
How are the students evaluated differently?
As far as what?
Like academics and certain classes they take.
Okay, so as far as how they're evaluated, we write IEPs because each student with a disability or cognitive disability is going to have an IEP, and so within the IEP you're going to have goals, and with those goals that's how they are evaluated. But also, like they don't take ECAs or ISTEP or anything like that, but they'll be evaluated through either ISTA or NCSE testing. That's something that I do with the students.
Okay. I was talking to Fitz about it. Did they take like the same tests or different tests? Like if they're in like Fitz says he has some students with disabilities and he has them take certain different tests. Is there anything you guys do differently?
Yeah. Like if I have a student that'll take a class outside of my classroom, a lot of times the gen ed teacher will have to modify the material, and within the IEP you have accommodations and modifications, and that's what those teachers would follow. And so instead of maybe like 20 questions, I might only have 10, or someone might be able to read the questions to them, but they definitely change things up for them.
Okay. How do you motivate your students in the classroom?
How do I motivate? We make it fun, we change things up. It's kind of like a family in there. They definitely feel like it's home, so we're a little more relaxed, but we also make it fun for them. And like I said, I try to change things up and keep it fresh for them, and just keep them motivated and tell them that they're doing a good job, and give them a lot of praise and tell them that they're proud of them, because I don't think they always get that at home.
Okay. I was a former student here. I was in Fitz's class, and we did pumpkin carving down here and like the reindeer decorating stuff for Christmas. What other unique events or clubs like Special Buddies do you have for the students?
Well, we do Best Buddies, and then they're trying to do the unified track now, where it's kind of like Best Buddies, where gen ed students gets paired up with the special ed student, and so they started that this year. But within Best Buddies, though, we do a lot with. Like we're trying to do stuff with like in the community, and then we're doing a lot of stuff within the building, and we try to get other schools involved too.
What are your main goals when it comes to special education for the students?
That they can learn to cope with change, and that they can learn to cope with different situations in their life, and that they can learn to be as independent as possible, but also that they get to be a part of all the other activities that the gen ed kids do. And so that's why, like within Best Buddies, we do a lot with, like, they go to the lip sync contest, they go to basketball games. I took them to an Indiana Pacers game, I took them to a hockey game, just because I feel like the general community needs to learn about these kids and accept them, and because I already accept them.
Okay. I'm an elementary education major at Purdue. But what would one piece of advice you would give to a teacher going into special needs, or that I may possibly have a chance to be with a special needs student in my classroom?
You have to have an open mind, and you have to have a lot of patience. And sometimes what you want done with the student may not take, and it might take a lot longer, and then you got to see, like, anytime you see a little progress or a little growth with them, you have to accept that and be happy with that, because sometimes, like, a gen ed kid is going to move, he might be able to get from like A to Z a lot quicker than someone with a special ed, what was the other part of the question?
Just this is the one piece of advice you would really just give to special needs.
I would say that you have to be open-minded. You got to realize that you're going to sometimes have a kid with a variety of disabilities. So whether they're autistic, whether they're moderate or mild cognitive intelligence, or severe or profound, you just got to keep in mind that things might go at a little slower pace, and realize that the behaviors, they're doing those things for a reason. So whatever the behavior is, so don't take it personal. That's what I always tell, like, staff when they come in here, like,
Okay.
don't take things personal, it's not you, it's just, you got to figure out what's happening and why they're doing those things, and then help try to correct it. So, anything else?